Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net and shareholder in Helios and Matheson. 1,000 shares now. Amazing what happens when the stock gets to 11 cents a share. Look, just because I like MoviePass, and even though I think they're going to survive, doesn't mean I have to like it. But let's talk about the peak pricing that this company has put in, because it went live at many cities recently, and people are definitely not happy, and it is prevalent. They are talking about how, like, in, some theaters where there's like 20 people, it's surging, or matinee showings during the weekday, they're surging. And what's going on? Is everything going to be surging? Is MoviePass just screwing us? And, well, obviously not everything is surging. And I think if you live in LA and NYC, where just the traffic of people is very, very big, those two cities are definitely separate from most of the country. Most of the country, from what I understand, is a little bit more up and down depending on where you go. It's just one of the unfortunate realities of living in a big city. A lot of people, there's potentially always a lot of demand. But I don't know exactly how the peak pricing works in that market, so I have not commented on it, and will really still not comment until we know for sure what's going on. But there is one thing that seems to be pretty consistent if you live in one of these middle states. We're talking about Kentucky, Minnesota, Utah, the middle states that don't have big congested cities for the most part. And that is, well, what you see with the screenshot that I've got. Typically, most of the surge is with AMC and sometimes Cinemark, but partnered theaters tend to not get it. So what's the deal? Is MoviePass really using their peak pricing to rip you off, or are they doing it to go to war with AMC? And I actually think it's more the latter. And granted, I got some of this information from Bob Weiss, who I'll link to his article below. That's where I got the screenshot, and he's the one who suggested it. He also wrote several good, interesting articles, so I've been enjoying him. I've also been enjoying Mark Gomes. Is that his name, Gomes? G-O-M-E-S? Yeah, I think so. I've been watching both of them. One's a bull, one's a bear. You got to look at both. But Bob has suggested that basically MoviePass is fed up with dealing with AMC. They know that a deal is not coming, and that is especially true now that they've launched their Stubs A-List program. And so peak pricing might be a way to punish them. It'd be a way to punish the theaters who are not playing ball with them and move them towards theaters that are playing ball with them. And that could very well be the case. I don't doubt for a second that this isn't to turn off the spigot a little bit, because MoviePass just lost so much money this year, more so than they anticipated. And I think they lost a lot of it because they didn't expect Incredibles 2 to do as well as they did. They didn't expect Deadpool 2 to do as well as it did. They were definitely anticipating Avengers. And yeah, the peak pricing launched with Ant-Man and the Wasp, so they were probably expecting Ant-Man and the Wasp to do better than expected. That much is true. So yeah, they turned on the peak pricing to help turn off some of that spending. And I've kind of been joking, like, they're probably thinking, if we can just get through Mission Impossible 6, which, from my perspective is the last truly big blockbuster that's coming out, we might be safe. Because if they can get through Mission Impossible 6, people will start to see less movies in August, because there's none of these super big releases. And September, there's not a lot of releases at all, and there's a good portion of people who might not use their MoviePass at all. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to survive through Mission Impossible 6. But on the other hand, yeah, AMC has been throwing shade at MoviePass. MoviePass has been in constant war with them. So much so that AMC was the guinea pig for the experiment phase, where they took 10 of the AMC theaters off the app, the 10 of the busiest theaters, and pretty much successfully move those customers to other movie theaters. And the experiment worked. Now, they have since reinstated those because of poor public backlash, and that just looks really obvious. But what if you have a peak price? Hey, here's peak pricing. The movie is potentially going to be very popular. You can still see it, but you have to pay $2 to $6 extra. And I'm hearing the average is like $350 to $450. So, well, in that case, you can now target the theaters who don't work with you, the ones who have their own subscription service, the ones who, definitely attack you. Hey, let's put the peak pricing on 95% of their showings. Because here's the thing. Remember the people who will drive several extra miles to get 5 cents off of their gas. What's going to stop people from driving an extra 2 or 3 miles to go to another theater to save that $4? You see where we're at here. And so MoviePass is definitely changing this a little bit. They are changing how you go to theaters. Now, when you go to the groups, you have a couple people. You have heavy users who, they like their AMCs, they like their blockbusters. They want to see the blockbusters multiple times, and they will cancel their MoviePass and go to AMC. That's fine in MoviePass's eyes. Yes, they are losing a customer, but they would rather not deal with that type of customer because that type of customer is the one that's been draining them. Let them AMC have all of the drainers, and we'll keep the casuals. The casuals would rather just pay $10 a month and see a movie occasionally. And the casuals might not even mind waiting a week or two to see a movie. But if there are movie theaters where they notice it's not peak pricing that much, they go to their movie in the app and they check out the theaters. They look at all the theaters and they see which theaters it's peak pricing at and which one it's not. Well, they are going to go to the one where it's not. And that is where MoviePass can flex their muscle a little bit. They're getting close to 4 million subscribers from what I understand. I can't tell you who told me that, but apparently the cancellation rate was like 2%. Now, that is not confirmed. Don't take my word as if it's gospel. I might have someone who is inside, but I can't name him. And, that is not, advice for investing or anything. It's just a rumor. But MoviePass was successfully able to diverge the customers once. They might be able to do it again, and peak pricing might be the new way to do it. So from my perspective, peak pricing has more to do with being at war with AMC. I agree with Bob Weiss on that. I do. And yes, it will, bring in some extra money, because there are some people who they will huff and puff and they will complain. But if they're at like a Regal and it's a busy night and they really want to see Hotel Transylvania 3 and they got to pay an extra $3.50, you know what? What's the better option? To cancel the membership and pay the full $14 for Hotel Transylvania 3, or pay an additional $4? Objectively, it's still a great deal. And that's why I still don't think people are going to cancel the way they think. But I do anticipate usage will dwindle a little bit. And I believe some of the heavy users will go to AMC. Some people will have both. I mean, you have people like me, a lot of people like me, who will have both. And we'll probably use AMC more often because we want to avoid the surge pricing. And MoviePass in their app has set it up so that AMC will almost always be surging. So there you have it. It's just a personal opinion. I think there's a lot of truth to it. I don't know if that's the full story, but I do think peak pricing was in part introduced to stick it to AMC and other theaters who are going to work with them, because I've noticed like there's a lot of screenshots like this where the partnered theaters are not getting hit with the same peak pricing that the major theaters who aren't dealing with them are. And that might be important in the long run. Who knows? So anyway, what do you folks think? Do you think there's some truth to this? Do you think I'm just being in denial? Or do you think peak pricing is just a way to scam you? I would love to know. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy videos like this, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go. This is not sponsored, so I'm saving it till the end. But if everyone out there is complaining like, oh, I want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, there's a surcharge. I want to see Hotel Transylvania 3, there's a surcharge. I want to see Skyscraper, there's a surcharge. Guys, without commenting on the quality of these videos, look at your local theater. Find a movie like Won't You Be My Neighbor, or 3 Identical Strangers, or vs. Reformed. These are excellent movies that will not be surging, and these are the kind of movies that MoviePass really helps. See those, and see Ant-Man and Hotel Transylvania another day. It's not that difficult. Anyway, that's where I want to end. Have a good one.